Kavod Shabbos. What acts of honor of Shabbos are included within the mitzvah of Kavod Shabbos? How does one fulfill Kavod Shabbos? So, just like in yesterday's class we discussed that there's one main category of Einik Shabbos and many subcategories, the same applies regarding Kavod. The Chachamim stated that the wearing of clean and elegant clothing, that is the main mitzvah of Kavod Shabbos. The idea of having elegant clothing is the main mitzvah of Kavod. But nonetheless, there are many subcategories of acts of Shabbos that fall under this idea of Kavod, and we're now going to list them. In chapter 242, the Alter Rebbe writes that the baking of challahs on Erev Shabbos for Shabbos, as opposed to buying them from a bakery, is included in Kavod Shabbos. The fact that one toils, that a woman toils and sweats to bake the challahs and to have fresh, tasty challahs, that's an inyan of honoring Shabbos. Bathing on Erev Shabbos, to bathe one's body in hot water, to cleanse it, is included in the mitzvah of honoring Shabbos. Another act mentioned in chapter 262 is the removing of cobwebs from the walls and roofs of one's house. As time goes by, cobwebs are formed in the corners and the edges of one's roof and ceiling. So it's a mitzvah of Kavod Shabbos, as we'll discuss in detail in later shiurim, to remove these cobwebs from the walls on Erev Shabbos. The cutting of one's nails and hair on Erev Shabbos is included in the mitzvah of honoring Shabbos. Not to eat a meal on Erev Shabbos past the 10th hour, which is about 3 hours before Shkia, 3 Zmanius hours, is included within the mitzvah of Einik Shabbos, of Kavod Shabbos, in order so one have an appetite to eat the Friday night meal properly. Setting the Shabbos table on Erev Shabbos for the Friday night meal included from the mitzvah of honoring Shabbos. Meaning not to wait until the husband comes home, and even not to wait till lighting candles to set the Shabbos table. Rather, on Erev Shabbos, the table is meant to be set, and having the table already set is itself a fulfillment of the mitzvah of Kavod Shabbos. The tidying of the house, preparing all the different matters of the house that require preparation for Shabbos, is included within the mitzvah of Kavod Shabbos. And one is meant to prepare all these things before the husband arrives home from shul, and as is known, that there are 2 malachim that actually escort a person home when he comes back from shul, and they take a look and see if the house is tidy and clean. If it is, then the malachim bless the family, and the bad malach that is escorting them answers Amen against his will. Having a tablecloth over one's table throughout the entirety of Shabbos is also included in the mitzvah of Kavod Shabbos, and therefore we see in many areas that it is a custom to have white tablecloths over all the tables of the home. And last but not least is what's mentioned in chapter 300, that preparing Malava Malka after Shabbos is also done as an act of Kavod Shabbos. The interesting question is brought in a number of achronim regarding why don't we say a bracha prior to fulfilling these mitzvahs of Kavod and Einik Shabbos. The chayra, it's no different than any other biblical command, and even if it's a rabbinical command, there are many rabbinical commands that we recite the blessing over. So regarding the idea of why we don't say a bracha on the food of Einik, the achronim answer a number of answers. One answer is that since there's no mitzvah on any specific food to be eaten, but rather it's a general mitzvah of Einik, so therefore we don't say a bracha of Asher Gidushan V'Tzivanu al Einik Shabbos. Other opinions mention that when we say a bracha over the Habakas Neis, over the candle lighting, that bracha itself includes the blessing of Hashem towards the mitzvah of Einik Shabbos. Others say, similarly, that the bracha recited in Kiddush includes the bracha of Einik Shabbos. The Seichemed has an original explanation, saying that the reason why we don't say a bracha on these things is because all these matters, on all these acts, including the main act of Einik, which is eating and drinking, are normal physical activities that every person does for special events. And therefore, since it's a normal thing that you can't really tell the difference that's being done for a mitzvah purpose, therefore one does not say a bracha over these mitzvahs. Likewise, since the mitzvah of einik spreads throughout the 3 meals, therefore, since it doesn't have one set time of fulfillment, a bracha is not recited.